Your kid forgot their permission slip. Again. They forgot to tell you about the parent-teacher conference. They forgot their lunch money, their jacket, their entire backpack somehow. You're convinced their brain is a colander with holes the size of softballs. But what if I told you their memory works perfectly fine when it comes to Minecraft coordinates, TikTok trends, or the exact number of days until their birthday? Your child isn't forgetful. They're strategically selective, and what they're selecting to forget is you. Over the next several chapters, I'm going to show you the 7 specific things parents do that train kids to ghost them emotionally while still living in the same house. You'll learn why your loving interest feels like surveillance, why your help feels like control, and why your kid would rather fail a test than ask you for support. This isn't about bad parenting. This is about good intentions creating invisible walls. Number 1. The achievement interrogation. You pick them up from school and immediately launch into the checklist. How was the math test? Did you turn in your project? What did you get on the quiz? You think you're being involved, showing interest, proving you care about their success. Your kid hears an audit. They hear that their value is measured in grades and completion rates. They hear that you're not actually asking how they are. You're scanning for failures you'll need to manage later. Research from the University of Arizona found that kids whose parents lead with achievement questions report feeling like projects instead of people. Stanford's Challenge Success program confirms that kids distinguish between genuine interest and performance monitoring within seconds. So what happens? They start hiding. Not because they're doing badly, but because even when they're doing well, the conversation feels like a deposition. They forget to tell you about the science fair, because telling you means triggering the achievement interrogation. They forget to mention the field trip because mentioning it means you'll ask 17 questions about logistics and learning objectives. The fix? Ask about their day like you'd ask a friend. What was the best part? Or anything weird happen? Or just, you good? Then actually listen to the answer without pivoting to academics. Let them bring up school if they want to. Your job isn't to extract a daily performance report. It's to be a person they actually want to talk to. Number 2, the privacy invasion. You go through their backpack because you're trying to stay informed. You check their texts because the internet is dangerous. You ask who they're texting because you deserve to know. From your angle, this is responsible parenting in a digital age. From their angle, you're the NSA with a router password. Yale's Parenting Center research shows that kids who feel constantly monitored develop what researchers call strategic disclosure, which is academic speak for lying by omission. They don't tell you about the group chat because you'll want to read it. They don't tell you about the friend drama because you'll demand screenshots. They forget to mention the birthday party because mentioning it means submitting a guest list for approval like they're applying for security clearance. Northwestern research on adolescent autonomy found that kids who have zero privacy don't become more open, they become better hiders. They're not forgetting to tell you things. They're protecting themselves from your need to know everything. The fix is calibration. Privacy isn't the same as secrecy. You can be available without being invasive. Try, "I'm here if you need me," instead of, "Show me your phone." Try, "Do you want to talk about it?" instead of, "Tell me everything right now." You're building trust, not running an intelligence operation. Number 3, the helicopter landing. Your kid mentions a problem, and you immediately swoop in to fix it. They're struggling with a friend, and you're already drafting an email to the teacher. They're stressed about a project, and you're Googling solutions before they finish the sentence. You think you're being helpful, supportive, showing them they're not alone. Your kid thinks you don't believe they can handle anything. Columbia University's research on parental over-involvement shows that kids whose parents solve their problems develop something called learned helplessness, mixed with resentment, which is a terrible combination. They stop telling you about struggles because telling you means losing control of the situation. MIT's research on adolescent development confirms that kids need to fail safely more than they need to be rescued constantly. So they forget to tell you they're behind in English because telling you means you'll take over. They forget to mention the group project disaster because mentioning it means you'll email 3 parents and the principal before lunch. The fix? Ask, "Do you want help or do you want me to listen?" Literally, those words. Let them have agency. Offer support instead of solutions. Say, "That sounds hard. What do you think you'll do?" instead of, Here's what you should do. You're raising a future adult, not managing a current crisis. Number 4, the emotional audit. Quick favor from Sticko before we move on. If this is hitting home, could you take 1 second to tap that subscribe button? Believe it or not, over 97% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. Anyway, your kid walks in visibly upset and you launch into diagnostic mode. What happened? Who did what? Why are you feeling this way? You think you're helping them process emotions and identify root causes. Your kid feels like they're being cross-examined by someone who won't let them just feel bad for 5 minutes. Research from Harvard's Center on the Developing Child shows that kids need emotional co-regulation before they need analysis. They need you to sit with them in the feeling before you try to fix or explain it. When you immediately jump to questions, they learn that emotions are problems to be solved, rather than experiences to be validated. So they stop sharing. They forget to tell you they had a bad day because bad days trigger the emotional audit. They forget to mention they're anxious because anxiety launches the why investigation. University of Michigan research found that kids whose emotions are immediately questioned learn to suppress or hide feelings rather than express them. The fix is radically simple. When they're upset, try, "That sucks," or "I'm sorry," or even just sitting next to them silently. Don't ask why. Don't offer perspective. Don't try to make it better. Just be present with the feeling. Later, maybe hours later, you can ask if they want to talk about it. But first, just let them be human. Number 5, the comparison trap. You mentioned that their cousin made honor roll. You casually note that their friend seems more focused. You share a story about how you handled things at their age. You think you're providing motivation, inspiration, healthy perspective. Your kid hears that they're not enough and someone else is the standard. Stanford research on adolescent motivation shows that comparison-based encouragement has the opposite effect. It doesn't inspire kids to improve. It convinces them they're already losing a race they didn't know they were running. Cambridge research confirms that kids who are regularly compared to siblings, peers, or even their parents' younger selves report lower self-esteem and higher anxiety. So what do? They stop sharing wins, because wins will be minimized with, "That's great, but did you hear what so-and-so did?" They forget to tell you about achievements, because achievements trigger the comparison reflex. They forget to mention they tried something new, because trying something new means risking being measured against someone who did it better. The fix? Celebrate them in isolation. No comparisons, no qualifiers, no, "That's good, but," their effort, their progress, their specific journey. Say, "I'm proud of you," without adding, "Your sister did the same thing in half the time." Say, "That must feel good," without pivoting to what someone else accomplished. You're not coaching a sports team. You're raising an individual human who needs to feel valued for being themselves. Number 6, the lecture loop. They mention something small, and you turn it into a teaching moment. They say they're tired, and you launch into a speech about time management and sleep hygiene and the importance of routines. They mention a disagreement with a friend, and you're suddenly delivering a TED Talk on conflict resolution. You think you're preparing them for life, passing down wisdom, being a good parent. Your kid thinks you can't have a normal conversation. Psychology Today research shows that kids tune out lectures within approximately 30 seconds, which means everything after that first half minute is just noise that makes them less likely to talk to you next time. Yale found that kids whose parents over-explain develop what they call conversational avoidance. They'd rather say nothing than trigger another lecture. So they forget to tell you they're struggling to wake up, because mentioning it means a 20-minute monologue about responsibility. They forget to share what's happening with friends because sharing means enduring the friendship lecture you've been workshopping since they were 7. The fix is brevity with an exit ramp. Share one thought, then stop talking. Try, "Sleep is hard to prioritize. I get it." And then literally stop. If they want more, they'll ask. If they don't, you just had a moment of connection instead of a moment of them mentally composing their grocery list while you talk. Sometimes the best parenting is knowing when to shut up. Number 7, the forced intimacy. You demand they sit down for family dinner and share their day in detail. You require they tell you about their friends, their feelings, their internal world on your schedule. You think you're maintaining closeness and family connection. Your kid feels ambushed. Research from the University of Minnesota shows that forced intimacy creates the opposite of connection. Kids who are required to share on command learn to perform openness rather than actually be open. They give you the minimum viable disclosure to satisfy the requirement, then they leave. Northwestern's research on family communication confirms that the best conversations happen opportunistically, not on schedule. So they forget things on purpose because remembering means having content for the mandatory sharing session. They keep their lives vague because details mean follow-up questions they're obligated to answer. They become experts at saying a lot while revealing nothing. The fix? Create opportunities for connection without demands. Drive them somewhere and don't make them talk. Just be available if they want to. Sit in the same room, doing separate things. Let them approach you instead of cornering them. Say, "I'm around if you want to hang," instead of, "We need to talk." Connection shouldn't be a fire drill. Be the coffee shop. Low stakes, always open, chill music, no appointment needed. Number 8. The trust deficit. They tell you something, and you immediately doubt it. They say they finished their homework, and you check. They say they're going to a friend's house, and you verify. They tell you they're fine, and you interrogate until you find proof they're not. You think you're being thorough, preventing problems, staying involved. Your kid thinks you believe they're a liar by default. Research from the Journal of Adolescent Health shows that kids who aren't trusted become untrustworthy, which is basically a self-fulfilling prophecy you're actively creating. When you verify everything they say, you teach them that honesty doesn't matter, because you won't believe them anyway. So they stop offering information. They forget to tell you their plans because telling you means being fact-checked like a disputed Wikipedia entry. They forget to share updates because updates will be questioned and cross-referenced. Harvard research confirms that trust is built through believing kids until they give you a reason not to, not the other way around. The fix? Assume honesty until proven otherwise. When they tell you something, say, "Okay, thanks for letting me know," instead of, "Let me just confirm that real quick." When they make a claim, believe it. If they break your trust, address that specific instance without making it a permanent identity. You want a kid who tells you the truth? Start by acting like you expect the truth instead of expecting deception. Number 9. The safety switch. These aren't random mistakes. They're patterns that make you feel unsafe to talk to. Every interrogation, every invasion, every lecture trains your kid that opening up to you has consequences. So they close down. They forget, because forgetting is safer than sharing. Psychology Today calls this emotional self-preservation. Your kid isn't broken or defiant. They're protecting themselves from a parent who accidentally turned love into surveillance. Stanford's research confirms what kids already know. They'll talk to adults who feel safe. And safety isn't about rules or boundaries. Safety is about being able to exist without being fixed, questioned, compared, or improved. The good news? You can rebuild this. It takes consistency, patience, and the willingness to be boring. Stop being interesting. Stop having agendas. Just be a reliable, non-threatening presence they can ignore until they need you. Then, when they do approach, don't make it a big deal. Don't celebrate the moment so much that they never do it again. Just be normal. Over time, they'll stop forgetting things because sharing won't feel dangerous anymore. They'll remember you exist as a resource instead of a risk. Whether your kid thinks you like them determines your relationship forever. The adult who calls their parents regularly, their parents liked them. Start there.